Hey guys, we're Ian and Anna, and we are back in Europe visiting 4 countries we've actually never been to, including Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. We were actually invited here by the European Travel Commission to show a different side of Europe. This is going to be such an incredible trip. Let's jump right into the video. First thing we're doing here in Poland is having pierogies. If you didn't know, Poland is known for their pierogies, and I'm so excited because I think they're one of the tastiest foods. On this trip, we're gonna have a tour guide. His name is Kuba. He's going to tell you a little bit more about what we're having today.
We are in Serena Irena, the place that serves traditional pierogi but in a bit unconventional way. Apart from this, which is not pierogi, cabbage rolls with some meat and rice inside, but we'll have pierogi with cottage cheese, with honey, so a sweet version. We will have very traditional potatoes and cottage cheese, and then we'll have with mushroom and cabbage and with meat.
And then for toppings, we got sour cream, we have caramelized onions, and then pork lard, which I'm very excited to try. I've never had it, especially as a topping on pierogies.
Wow, I didn't know how hungry I was, but I also didn't realize how much more delicious pierogies would be in Poland. I ended up loving the pork lard because it's a little salty with that sour cream, and my favorite one was the sauerkraut pierogi.
This robot just rolls around and takes people's dirty plates. First time I've actually seen one of these at use. Let me tell you, those pierogies were 10 times better than I ever expected. You're gonna find pierogies at every single restaurant. Just try as many different flavors as possible.
Now we're going to be walking around Old Town. I love visiting this time of year because the autumn leaves are peeking. I'm obsessed with autumn, even if it's a little chilly. She loves me, During World War II, unfortunately, Poland suffered a lot. In 1944, 85% of Warsaw was completely destroyed. Just under 10 years later, they were able to preserve and rebuild this Old Town area, which is super impressive. And for that reason, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, just to commemorate everyone's societal community effort to get this place back up and running after such a tragedy.
That Old Town and square are just incredible, how they built it back up that well. It's definitely one of the prettiest old towns I've ever seen all over the world, especially here in Europe. Kuba was telling us that they actually turned that square into an ice rink during winter, and they have Christmas markets, so we definitely need to get back up here because that would be so fun.
So right behind me, the house where, as we know her, Maria Skłodowska, or as is known around the world, Marie Curie was born. So the double-time Nobel Prize winner. The one Nobel Prize was for the discovery of 2 chemical elements, so polonium, named after Poland, and radium, and the other one for her work with radiation. And the first woman that received the Nobel Prize, and the first and the only one so far who received 2 Nobel Prizes. We are drinking right now the Wedel chocolate, which is the oldest functioning chocolate company in our country, started over 150 years ago.
I honestly don't think I've ever had hot chocolate this good in my entire life. It is thick, it's rich, it's creamy, and it is so good.
Now I really want to come back for the Christmas markets.
We ended up getting a flight so we could taste them all.
My favorite so far is the dark. I really like dark bitter.
Na
zdrowie.
That means cheers in Polish.
Now we just drove 10 minutes over the bridge to the Praga District, and we're visiting the Vodka Museum because Poland is notorious and famous for their vodka. So we're gonna go do a little tour, taste some vodka. But all this back here used to be vodka manufacturing. Now it's turned into apartment buildings, gyms, and really cool restaurants. I did not have any expectations for Warsaw or any of the Baltic countries and cities, but I will say we're blown out of the water already. I know a lot of Americans want to go to the main cities of Europe, but our most memorable times are going to places where no one is, because you feel like you're a part of the local life and you get to really enjoy it without all these touristy crowds. Over the next hour, we really learned why Polish vodka isn't just a drink, it's a symbol of national pride. Poland has been producing some of the world's best vodka for more than 500 years, and I can guarantee you know at least one of these many brands, including the world famous Belvedere vodka. This tour ended up being so much fun. Our guide brought us through these 4 interactive galleries, showed us the distilling process, and finally let us try 4 different types of vodka.
I can't be happier than I am.
The next morning, we got up for sunrise and walked around Old Town, which was amazing because there was no one around. If you're wondering where to stay in Warsaw, try to find a place near the Royal Route, which is where all the major sites are. We stayed right on this road at the iconic Hotel Bristol, which is the oldest working hotel in all of Warsaw. I mean, I don't think this spot could have been better because we were right next door to the presidential palace. Also, the view from our room is absolutely amazing. You get to see great views, and right there is the Palace of Culture building. We're gonna go to the top of it today and get 360 views around Warsaw. I'm really excited for that.
Because this is such a prominent hotel, there have been a lot of famous people that have stayed here, and they've collected the doorknobs and wrote their names on them on this wall, so that's really, really cool. Toby Hawk, Mike Tyson, Mark Zuckerberg, Herbert Hoover, I mean, the list goes on and on.
On top of all those celebrities we were just talking about, Beyonce actually just stayed at a hotel across the street from ours. Also, Taylor Swift just stayed in Warsaw not so long ago and performed during her European Eras tour. They have a massive stadium here that holds up to 60,000 people. So Warsaw has a lot going on.
I can't be happier than I am.
Guys, we are standing at the Vistula River, which is the river entirely in the Polish territory. So it starts in the mountains, it goes all the way through the main city, so Krakow, Warsaw, and it goes down to the Baltic Sea. And the riverside, especially if you look behind me on the boulevards, that's the place where the local people love to hang out in the summers. So as soon as it gets warm, people are here doing sports, meeting with their friends, drinking.
Right next to the Vistula River, Kuba showed us a secret botanical garden on the rooftop of the University of Warsaw's library. This campus was just stunning, and the views of the city were unbeatable from up here. Afterwards, we walked to the subway and took a short ride to downtown Warsaw.
Behind me, you have the Palace of Culture and Science. We were gonna go up because you get a 360 view of the entire city, but the line was a little long, so we decided to maybe come back later. But what's really unique about this building is that it was built by the Soviets in the 1950s, and up until recently, it was the tallest building in all of Poland. Not to be outdone by the new tallest building over there.
Because we couldn't climb the tower just yet, we came to the Royal Gardens, and let me tell you, this is a must-do in Warsaw. It reminds me of Central Park in New York City. I mean, the foliage here is popping, they have such beautiful bridges, and the old King of Poland's summer home is here, and it's like a palace with a lot of different buildings that are just gorgeous. They have white peacocks, they have a lot of different animals in this park. I would say come here, bring some food, a picnic, and just enjoy your day in the park, because this is one of the prettiest city parks I've ever seen. An awesome thing about Warsaw is 1/3 of the city has green space, so there's so many spots and beautiful parks around every corner.
We are going right now to the restaurant called the Belvedere Restaurant, as is the name of the palace which is nearby in the Łazienki garden. It's Belvedere Palace, which is also gave the name to the most famous vodka produced in Poland, so the Belvedere vodka. If you want to know how the palace looked like without coming to Warsaw, you can just go to the liquor store and buy the Belvedere vodka, and you will see the palace, which is not far away from us.
Thank you so much for showing us around. Message Kuba on WhatsApp if you want a great tour guide here in Poland and Warsaw. He doesn't do just the city, he goes all over Poland, and he's the best.
Like you guys know, we're here at the Belvedere, and what's so unique about this spot is that it used to be a full-on greenhouse because the king really wanted orange trees. Obviously in Poland, they don't have the proper climate for that, so he built this greenhouse and they kind of converted it into a very, very nice restaurant. So far, I've ordered the Belvedere beef tartare and the burrata salad for our starters.
Zdrowie. I also love how this restaurant is smack dab in the middle of the park. I think it would be an awesome day to walk around and end up here for a lunch or a dinner.
I went with the Polish dumplings, and I thought maybe they'd be pierogies, but look, they're kind of like big stuffed gnocchi. So they should have some cheese inside and maybe potatoes too. Just truffle on top.
This is lamb. We don't know what this ball is.
It's like a croquet.
I'm really
Here,
excited to
let's
try all
open
these.
This world with broken toes.
Every place we're going to, Ian and I want to do a what were you most surprised by? I think I was surprised by so many things in Warsaw, but one thing I wanted to note the most, I would say, is how clean the city is. I mean, this is one of the cleanest European cities I've ever been in. Really, I haven't seen any trash on the ground, not a lot of horrible smells. It is very, very clean here.
My biggest surprise here was how well they did recreating the city. As you know, we talked about it before in this video of how it was bombed, 85% of it ruined. 10 years later, later, they rebuilt the whole city basically. Nowadays, even the old vodka factories or old factories they don't use anymore, they turned it into really cool eateries, shops, and they did a really, really good job. It's a city I would want to live in if I was living over here in Europe, for sure. Before taking our night flight to Lithuania, we had just enough time to try a delicious restaurant called Uviniave. This place serves classic Polish dishes and has live musicians the entire night. They even had someone make fresh beef tartare right at our tableside, and it was just so good. This was the most fun and best way to end our time in Poland, and I couldn't recommend coming here enough on your trip to Warsaw.
Waking up, I can feel the time.
After a quick 1-hour flight to Vilnius, which is Lithuania's capital, we were immediately on our way to a crazy experience. Only a 20-minute drive outside of Old Town, you'll arrive at the TV Tower, which is the tallest building in Lithuania. Up here, we were not only taking in the views, but we were getting strapped in so we could walk along the edge of the building. When we get really cold, we have to do the penguin. And I'll show the penguin. You gotta stay very close to each other. These actually move with you as you walk around the tower. All right, we're all hooked up. And how you doing?
The autumn trees make it so beautiful.
Look how pretty that river is in the distance right there.
I am really fearless. Like, I'm not scared at all.
I just sat down and she is really close to the edge right here.
I got my feet off the edge here.
Waking up, I can feel the tired eyes. I can never say no.
You can sit right on the edge like this, which is pretty wild because it is straight vertical down. Look at this. And from up here, you can see the Old Town, the bell tower where we're staying in the distance right there.
I love that we got lucky with some sun today, so it's actually quite pleasant up here. Ian and I just love nature, so this is our little mountaintop in a city. We're enjoying it. We're taking our time.
Yeah, and
I
we're
thought it was
sitting.
going to be one of those things you just like go and you leave, but I'm like, I could sit here all day.
Yeah.
But I won't do that to Marius, so
Yeah.
we'll get going.
Gonna not move the feet, and then the rope is kind of relaxed. And what we're gonna do?
No.
We're gonna
No.
No!
put your arms like here. It's just like take a breath.
Up here they have a great bar and restaurant, and we're just having beers and coffees. Marius told us that they have events up here, they have concerts. He also told us if you can make it here for sunset, it's a great spot for it. Probably the best in the whole entire city. Marius, what are the best beers in Lithuania?
Most famous it's Švyturys, which is in English means lighthouse.
Okay.
So we had a lot of that.
Next, we headed to the most unexpected place, the Lokys prison. This prison has some pretty dark history because over the past 100 years, it's been in the hands of the Nazis and the Soviet Union. The crazy thing is, it just recently closed in 2019, and if you're a Stranger Things fan, you need to visit. This prison is one of many Lithuanian filming locations for Stranger Things Season 4. If you remember in the show, this was the secret KGB prison that holds Jim Hopper. During our tour, we got to walk around the cells, visit the prison church, and even take our own mugshots. As you can see here, Anna was arrested for eating too many potatoes, and I was arrested for annoying my wife to death.
I'm gonna be completely honest, I might be weird, but I feel like the prison was one of my favorite things we've done so far on this entire trip.
You
I just
are.
think it's really cool. It looks like you're walking in a movie. But now we're at the oldest restaurant in Vilnius called Lokys. The dishes here look absolutely amazing. If you're watching this video and you're coming to any of these countries, just go to all the restaurants we're showing you because each one is so unique and the food is out of this world.
So for our appetizers, we ordered crayfish soup and a delicious salad.
We're about to eat venison and some sausage with some sauerkraut. If I'm gonna talk about European food, I would say Eastern Europe is by far my favorite, especially because it's very home cooked. It feels like grandma is cooking back there.
Now we're gonna explore yet another UNESCO Old Town with our local tour guide, Lina.
Lena, what are we gonna be up to?
Idea is to give you a little introduction to Vilnius as a European city with rich history dating back to the medieval ages.
We're gonna be going through Užupla now. This town during Soviet times is where all the people who didn't necessarily want to follow those strict rules would end up. And it's really a sign of freedom because when Lithuania declared the independence in the 90s, this is where other people would go to learn how to be free.
This district we're walking in is comparable to Montmartre in Paris. It's the art district, and I'm really excited to see what it's all about because she said it's the most famous part of Vilnius.
They wrote a constitution of this district in the 90s. My favorite one, about the pets, of course. Everyone has the right to love and take care of the cat. A dog has the right to be a dog. A cat is not obliged to love its owner, but must help in time of need.
I love that one.
That one.
Yeah.
Our cats love us though, so.
I also really like number 21. Everyone has the right to appreciate their unimportance, because I feel like everyone thinks they're so important, but none of us really are.
So one of the reasons we're here is to promote more people to visit this part of Europe. I think what's so important about visiting this area is you're gonna get to talk to people who actually lived through history. I feel honored today to have a tour guide who was a Soviet kid who can tell us about what it was like living in the Soviet Union.
Until 19 years old, I was raised in the Soviet Union. I was the kid who was absolutely brainwashed by the Soviet ideology. It took a massive Soviet aggression for me to change the views. That Soviet aggression happens in 1991 when Lithuania declared independence already, and then the Soviets came with tanks to push us back. And we were there at the TV center where they came to take the communication channels away so that they could portray their ideology. Then they came and they actually brought the tanks and they kept shooting and they attacked us. The opportunity to speak to people who can tell you these stories makes the visit a little bit special.
I could already tell you it has just as beautiful as Old Town as Warsaw did. I am blown away. Ending off our tour in this gorgeous square right here where you got a bell tower, cathedral, and the royal palace. Lena said this is where their Independence Day is held, Christmas. It's the most popular area to get together. We have musicians over here. It's just gorgeous, especially surrounded by the autumn leaves.
Before dinner, we decided to walk around and we passed this little spot called Notre Dame. They're serving hot wine. Of course, we had to stop. Mixed in some spices, orange, and even ginger.
Yeah.
So it tastes really good. I could drink a lot of this. It's definitely dangerous.
Yeah, it tastes like fall and winter. It's like the perfect, I've never had a hot wine and I really, really like this.
I like it way better than regular wine.
Yeah. We're not wine people. Tonight we are headed to yet another Michelin Guide restaurant here in Vilnius. We'll see what we get. I have no idea what to expect.
I know it's gonna be good because we haven't had one meal that's disappointed yet.
So right behind Anna is the cathedral and the bell tower, and we're just surrounded on all sides by beautiful buildings right now.
This is a tiger prawn.
Tiger prawn and a pumpkin soup. Never heard of that combination before.
I'm not like a big fish girl otherwise, but clam chowder, lobster bisque, bring it to me.
Look at this. This is Gordon Ramsay plating. That looks amazing, the octopus.
I love octopus.
Before leaving Lithuania, I want to tell you about two other restaurants we visited during our time here. First is another Michelin Guide restaurant called Momo's Grill, which was Anna's favorite lunch on our entire 10-day trip. There was two dishes she was obsessed with, and they were the roasted pumpkin and then the beets with goat cheese. I also had a phenomenal beef stew here. The second place we absolutely loved was called Džiaugsmas, which is one of only 4 restaurants in all of Lithuania to be awarded a Michelin star. All the dishes we had here were to die for. We had unbelievable slow-cooked beef ribs, roasted vegetables, and potatoes with caramelized onions. After filling our stomachs in Lithuania, it was time to take a short 45-minute flight to Latvia's capital city, Riga. So the flight last night from Vilnius to Riga was super fast, only about 45 minutes, but I found out something exciting. They're actually connecting the European railway to the Baltic countries by the year 2030. I just think it's gonna be really easy for people to get up here that way. So I'm excited for a lot of you to use the railway up here.
First thing we're doing here today in Riga is a walking tour. We're gonna be learning some not so happy history, visiting the Jewish ghettos, and then following up with some Latvian traditional food at the market.
Like I was saying earlier, here's the new rail station they're building that should be completed in 2030. But what's crazy is history is colliding. So you have the new Latvia, which is now part of the European Union. This is the old railway station, the management office that was from the Russian Empire before the 1900s. And then you got Soviet Union buildings like that from Stalin. They call it the Stalin birthday cake. All this is colliding in this area.
This is a very sensitive part of history. Behind me you have a synagogue that was burned with about between 100 and 1,000 Jews in it. During the Nazi time, there were 90,000 Jews here and only 500 survived that war.
Right here are all the names of the local Latvians that saved Jews, and like Anna said, the one that saved 60 is right there with the biggest plaque up top. From bad comes a lot of good too, and I think it's very important to showcase this area, and definitely come visit because you will learn a lot about history.
Behind me you see 4 buildings. This is actually one of the largest food markets in all of Europe.
We actually have something in Cleveland, Ohio, where Anna and I grew up, exactly like this, called the West Side Market. Inside the West Side Market is all sorts of international foods, and it's one of our favorite things to do when we go home is pick up fresh pierogies, fresh pasta, all sorts of things.
The first thing I noticed when I walked through this market was this fruit I had never seen. It's called hurma.
Kaki
And-
persimo. Kaki.
It's orange. It feels kind of like a peach or a plum.
Thank you.
Tasira. Spain. From Spain.
Sweet. It's good. Yeah.
Spain, yeah.
Now we're gonna have some smoked meats, which is a very famous thing to have here in Latvia.
For those of you that don't know, this is the Latvian flag. I never seen this one before. So we're trying smoked chicken for the first time, and then we got smoked ham, which I believe we've already had before. Our next dish up is salmon on bread, and then sardines on bread, and then we got a lot of pickles because Latvia is famous for pickling. So we got pickled cucumbers, pickled carrots, pickled cabbages. Anna, how is the bread?
It's really good.
Really? What about the sardine one? You're not gonna try it, are you?
How'd you know? Once I started giving my cat sardines, I'm like, they're not for me.
This is a fat shot glass.
You're gonna have to drink that.
Got the local moonshine here. This is 43% alcohol, vodka. Hey, when in Latvia, smooth. Really smooth.
Really?
Yeah, it's made with honey.
Do you want to get a to-go
Oh
one?
my gosh. They have massive 2-liter jugs here.
Now we're trying hemp paste. All of these toppings are made from hemp. This is a hemp butter. To me, it tastes a little bit like peanut butter. This one's a hemp pesto. Tastes like pesto, but with hemp seeds instead of pine nuts.
Sun-dried tomatoes.
Sun-dried, yeah, that's what it looks like. It's very good. I like it a
Yeah,
lot.
they are really good. Now we're having the best Latvian beer.
Welcome to Latvia's first craft breweries. We are very much inspired by ancient ways of brewing. Ancient Latvians used to use a lot of juniper wood when brewing, basically juniper wood infusion. So this, first of all, is a modernized version of that ancient juniper beer.
This is good.
It is
This
good.
one's called the Forest.
The forest is good.
Yeah.
Now am I trying the plavo?
Yeah, the Plow,
Okay.
which would translate to as the meadow. Because ancient peoples also used to use a lot of herbs. Herbs were very common before hops were widely adopted.
This is a really good
Pretty
one.
good. We just tried some cheese. I love cheese, and luckily you can travel with these waxed ones because they last a very long time. I'm gonna get it for Christmas, and so I got myself one. Ian got one. My dad one.
They were fun, guys.
Oh,
And these were the so-called 10 tastings of Riga. Contact me for some great tours. Yeah.
all right. Thank
I better said it better myself.
Yeah, his tour information is right here, his number and everything. So check him out. He's the best in Latvia. So we're heading back to our hotel, but the cool thing is we get to pass through this unbelievable park. Parks surround the entire Old Town, and this one's spectacular right now, especially with these colors. There's a little river that runs through it, and it reminds me again of Central Park, just like the park we were in Warsaw.
This canal was right outside our hotel, and we saw this little boat, and of course we just really wanted to take a boat ride. They're about an hour long, and you can book them on Get Your Guide. You can scan this QR code right here.
Give you the world like I promised I would.
Really loving this. Did not expect to do this. One of Anna and I's favorite thing to do in Europe is take dinner cruises. So I wonder if they have dinner cruises on any of these rivers throughout the Baltics, because wow, you get some amazing views of Old Town from here. You go through these really narrow canals next to the parks. This was not on our plan, and we did it, and it's probably one of our favorite things this entire trip.
Right now we're at a restaurant called White House, and this one happens to have a set menu. Everything has been so extravagant. It's definitely felt like more of an experience than just lunch here. I'm obsessed with Latvia. I'm having the best time.
Look at this that just came in.
I love too how that looks like a honeycomb.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, there's literally edible glitter in here.
Oh my
See that?
gosh.
We love telling you guys local words that you can use on your trip. Here in Latvia, to say hello, it's sveiki,
Sticky.
sveiki, and then to say thank you, it's paldies, paldies.
Now we're on to dessert. Looks amazing.
It's kind of like a tiramisu meets pineapple salsa with some creme brulee sugar on top.
Now we are walking around the old town of Riga, and just like Vilnius and Warsaw, this one is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and let me tell you, it is gorgeous just like the others, and such unique architecture here, so colorful. I just feel like if you want to go to a lot of cute small towns in Europe, come in the Baltics, and even Warsaw. They're all so close to each other really fast.
I feel like it's gotten prettier, or like just more interesting or more surprising every time. Like I was super surprised in Warsaw, and then I got to Lithuania and I was like, whoa. And then I was like, yeah, I can't get better than this. And then I was like, Latvia, whoa. And now I'm going to Estonia. We'll see.
We'll
This
see.
keeps getting better, honestly.
After exploring the old town for a little, we made our way to one of Riga's most iconic buildings called the House of Blackheads. It was originally built all the way back in 1334 and served as a medieval guild house for unmarried merchants and ship owners. Back in their day, the Blackheads would organize trade fairs, celebrations, and defended the city during times of conflict. Decorations and statues were so elaborate in this place, and I love seeing all the old medieval weapons when we explored the wine cellar downstairs. They even had this unbelievable ballroom that looked like it belonged in France at the Palace of Versailles. Sadly, this place was completely destroyed during World War II, but in 1999, it was reconstructed and has become a symbol of Latvia's history and resilience. Latvia, we are gonna miss you so much, and we definitely need to come back here one day, especially with all the other countries.
Yeah, I will honestly say at first I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing a lot of countries in 10 days. But to be honest with you, why do one country when you can do all four?
Yeah.
That's the best part of this trip. We're seeing so many places. It does feel like we're making the most of them and have enough time in each place. So that's a really good feeling. Last night we landed in Tallinn and our hotel is so cute. The room's really big and they also gave us a lot of snacks, so that was such a warm welcome. Today we're gonna go on a tour of Old Town, which is right behind me. Look at how pretty it is already. I am so excited to explore more. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so I know we're gonna learn a lot and see a lot.
Also, what's amazing about this hotel is the original Old Town wall is connected inside, so it's inside our room and also the stairwell heading down to the lobby area. That is our hotel right there, Nunye Boutique Hotel, and that is our room. Our window sees all of this old town and it is gorgeous. So our tour guide just told us that on these towers, there's something that's not medieval about them. It's actually the orange rooftops. These were added in the 1970s. Originally, it would be an open air concept up there, just so they could use it as defense towers, like a cannon could be at the top or a slingshot. But I think they make the city so pretty. The rooftops, it looks like a fairy tale castle. I never thought I would see a Texas restaurant here with the Texas flag and the US flag. It's so weird seeing a medieval town and seeing all these international restaurants. So today is actually Halloween, so happy Halloween. It's October 31st, and there was no one around. Everyone's either at work or at school right now. There's no tourists here anymore. It's end of tourist season. You come now, you will literally have this entire place by yourself, which Anna and I really love. And let me tell you, another old town that is surprising to us. They're all different. Every single old town, 4 of them we've been to in this video, they're all so different, and I love that about them. And what I love, and Anna loves about this old town, is that it is medieval. I really like that vibe with the cobblestone streets and these walls and towers. It is so epic. Can't get over how colorful, so colorful these old towns are. It's ridiculous. I would have never guessed the Baltics would be like this.
We are at the Town Hall Pharmacy, which is actually the longest and oldest working pharmacy in all the world. This has been a pharmacy since 1422 and you can still get your medicine here. You can also get some marzipan, delicious tasting almond paste surrounded by an almond. It's really good. I don't know if you ever had it.
There's so many different medicines, or what they thought to be medicines. You actually have an old mummified hand. They would put that into a tea. You have a bat right there, and you got snakes, toads.
Ian said, what's the weirdest thing? I think the answer is sun-bleached dog poop.
Oh my
and
God.
it was actually treated to heal a stomach ache.
Oh my
but he said, really the idea is if you can survive the medicine, you'll survive the illness.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's just a little wrong.
All I know is medieval times are wild. I'm glad we figured it out by now. Next, we got to visit the only surviving Gothic town hall in all of Northern Europe, which dates back more than 700 years. This building's exterior features intricate stone carvings and a clock that has kept time for centuries now. The inside of this town hall was super impressive with detailed woodwork and an endless collection of medieval art. Tower. Nowadays, Tallinn uses this town hall to host concerts and events, and during Christmas time, the town hall transforms into a magical Christmas market. It was even voted the #1 Christmas market in Europe in 2019. Ending our tour with this amazing viewpoint. You see the Baltic Sea in the distance and Old Town right here. This is beautiful.
The boat ride to Finland from here is 2 hours, so technically, if you don't mind a long commute, you could work in Finland if you lived in Tallinn.
And it's amazing that you can travel here and then, you know, take a boat and go travel in Finland, which would be fun too. After walking around Old Town, we stopped for lunch at Olde, which is a medieval-inspired restaurant. Right when you walk in, you're transported back in time because everything you see, hear, taste, and touch is inspired by 15th century Middle-Age practices. I mean, even the waiters and waitresses are dressed head-to-toe in traditional medieval outfits, which made the entire experience feel authentic. Anna and I signed up for the all-you-can-eat Grand Chef's Feast, where you are served 20 ancient dishes. Every single one of these recipes was found in medieval documents and reflect what a wealthy household from the 15th century would prepare.
This is Helena from Visit Tallinn. She's the one that made our itinerary and is welcoming us here today.
Awesome. How do you say welcome in Estonian? All right.
How do you say hello? Tere.
Tere.
Tere. And how do you say thank you? Oita.
Oita. Oita.
Food's delicious, and the beer, which I never say the beer is good, but I got a cinnamon beer.
And I
10
got
out of 10.
And I got a honey beer.
Yeah.
But they serve all these classic dishes.
Just gonna list everything.
There's so much. There's so much.
So many things. So you've got salmon, venison, sausage with wild boar, bear, and I think beef. I'm pretty sure so there's 3 meats in that one. We've got sauerkraut, duck, bear stew. Yes, I am saying bear.
Yeah, I think it's brown bear.
Some lentils, these look like mashed potatoes.
So there's a gift shop here that has so many amazing things you could bring home. I'm excited because I think I'm gonna get a beer glass. They have a massive beer glass. I don't think I can fit this in my suitcase, but the one I was having at dinner is this one. And it kept the beer really cold. So I think this would be so fun to have at home and give to my guests that come over and have drinks. I feel like people would get so confused. After that unique lunch, we walked over to the Rotermann Quarter, which used to be Tallinn's industrial hub during the 19th and 20th centuries. Now it's been turned into all sorts of trendy bars, restaurants, cafes, and museums. Fun fact, some scenes from Christopher Nolan's movie Tenet were filmed here, which I thought was so cool. We ended up visiting the Pop and Contemporary Art Museum, which has pieces from the world's greatest pop artists, including Andy Warhol, Banksy, and Liechtenstein. The owner of this art studio is an Estonian that helped launch the well-known internet phone company that most of you probably know called Skype. This place recently opened in 2023, and we immediately fell in love with the entire collection because we could really resonate with what the artists were portraying here. To end off this epic day, our tour guide drove us 5 minutes to Kadriorg Park, which is 250 acres. It's wild that all 4 of these countries we visited had amazing parks right next to the city, and this one was just as gorgeous. Sadly, it started raining right when we got here, but we did end up visiting some museums. We got to walk around this unbelievable palace, and we even explored a Japanese garden here. Last but definitely not least, we ended our time in Estonia going to Fotografiska, which earned a green Michelin star for its sustainability practices. This restaurant tries to reduce its carbon footprint as much as possible, and they do this by using 85% locally grown products, and they even just purchased their own plot of land to farm on. So I actually got the venison, and it looks amazing. Anna, what'd you get?
I got risotto con romesco. It literally tastes like fall in your mouth. It's so good.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous. The amount of Parmesan cheese on there. Look at that. This place is also a rooftop bar. It has an outdoor deck. From the deck, you can have an amazing view of the Old Town, so I bet this place is super packed in the summertime. They also have their own brewery downstairs. I'm having the People Pleaser, and they say it is the lowest footprint possible brewery. This was our waiter, Michael, and he has a really good tagline for this restaurant.
Nose to tail and from root to stem. Pretty much you can use every part of the animal or the plant, and what you can't use, you can just compost.
Love that restaurant. It was so good. Everything truly tasted very fresh. You can tell they have a lot of passion and a lot of effort into everything they do. So 10 out of 10 recommend. I can't wait to go back there one day.